Hi, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Hi, this is a best-selling author. I threw the best-selling in there. Best-selling author Dick Wybrow.
I'm Melanie from Second Shooter.
This is Jeff with Second Shooter.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Allen from Bridges Ablaze.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
Yo guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola amigos, this is Billy Sheehan.
Hey guys, this is John Karabi.
Hi, this is Jim Valance.
What's up everybody, it's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey guys, it's Leather Leone.
This is Nothing from Inside the Trojan Horse.
What's up guys, Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
My name's Reggie, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
It's time once again for the Weekly Pour, the show that knows everything about absolutely nothing. Here are your hosts, TbT and Ace.
That's me, TbT. That guy over there is Ace. Welcome to episode 172 of the Weekly Pour podcast. We are trying to get this show done and out to you live before we float away because of the 72 inches of rain that is currently falling out my back door. Well, I guess it would be my front door too.
There's flooding everywhere.
What?
Flooding everywhere.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Mass hysteria. Cats and dogs.
I don't know what the heck. What the heck is going on?
I don't know.
I guess March is coming in like a lion, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
good call. The very first thing we have to mention before we go into any more weather is the fact that the chat is currently working. If you are watching this live and you are on the YouTubes and you watched last week, you will know that last week there was no chat. It might have been okay. But those that enjoy the chat, jump in there because it is working. A lot of our regulars are in, of course. Mama TbT, Mrs. TbT's already in. And, of course, moderator extraordinaire, the highest paid moderator on this show, Natalie. So welcome to everybody. If you are watching this and you are not in the chat, that's fine. Stick around. We got lots of news. Everything from Metallica and Ozzy and Twisted Sister and Shinedown. Yeah, lots of stuff. And even some stuff from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which we already talked about last week. But this week we've got a little bit more. So we'll dive into that stuff a little bit later. You know how we do when we start off the show. We start talking about just random crap. And I'm going to tell you, I got one random thing that I want to talk about. Only because we have mentioned in the past numerous times on this show about AI music and the use of AI to create lyrics, bands, music, all of it, all the way to creating the entire song, which includes the music, the arrangement, the production, the vocals, instruments, everything. There's a reason I'm bringing this up this evening. And that's because I found a band. As our regular listeners know, every so often we feature a band called our Pour of the Week. And there are ones that we find, and it's like, man, these are awesome. So we feature them and put out some information, try to get some more fans their way. I found a band that I wanted to feature soon. And as I was looking through their stuff, their music is amazing. Let me just start off with that. I go looking through their stuff and I'm like, man, there is nothing in here that shows me a band. You know, there's some logos and stuff like that, but there's no people, there's no band, there's no drummer, you know, there's nothing. And I'm on TikTok when I'm looking and finding this. There is nothing there. So I continue to do my research with this band. I'll use that term loosely. I continue doing my research only to find out, I will not throw my pen, that this band, this music, is AI generated. I don't want to say that I was fooled because I don't think it's put out there to fool anybody. I don't know the story behind the creation of everything. And I really don't want to say the name of the band because I guess it really doesn't matter. I have to find, because I'm not going to say anything bad about them, honestly. I'm not going to say anything bad about this music because it is good. Like, I'm jamming it in my freaking vehicle when I'm driving. Can I say vehicle or do I have to say car? I'm jamming because this stuff is badass. And that's what happened is I found them real quick on TikTok, went to Apple Music where their stuff is available. I downloaded it so that I could listen to it. Man, I'm just going off. And the other reason, real quick, before you jump in, the only reason I really didn't want to mention them was only because if I'm wrong, I'm going to feel like an ass.
Right.
But I don't think I'm wrong.
Well, it brings up an interesting point because we've had one or two hit mainstream charts, right? We had a country song that was it number one? We talked about that.
Was, yeah.
There was a pop song that was really, really good. That was a big hit, all AI produced. And I think we're going to see a little bit more of this. The thing is about those two songs, everything was up front that this is AI produced. So if these people, this creator is not being upfront, you're right to be a little wary of how you present your review of it. But I wouldn't be. I mean, what is this sort of creation? Really, what is it? Because you have to tell the AI program what you want. So you are creating it. You could say, we've talked about this as well. I want a vocal in the style of, Sebastian Bach. I want guitars in the style of George Lynch. I want a melodic sound like this and these type of. You're telling it everything, and making it understand what you want, and you tweak it as you go.
Right.
So you could cut down the creation time of a song to less than an hour, and I'm talking top to bottom, nuts to soup. You've got a song, and it sounds exactly like you want it to be, and maybe it sounds like a band you liked in the '80s. And so that right there, is that an art form? Is it music? What is it? What are we don't know what to call that yet.
Right. And let me throw this in because I was looking. I'm doing a little bit more here just to make sure. Because if I name the band, I don't want to make it in a negative light. Because again, I cannot overstate how badass the songs are. All right, it's kind of a metalcore band. And what I've read is that it's not here to be seen, not like a Sleep Token or a President that wear masks. The band is just there to be heard, to be listened to be felt, because you can feel lyrics, you can feel songs.
Yeah.
These are human lyrics that are turned into songs with AI. So take any songwriter, take let's go country, take Brooks and Dunn, amazing songwriters. Maybe they don't have a singer they want to use, so they turn to AI for whatever reason.
Okay.
Human lyrics, AI songs. Is that the same as, and we've heard a number of people complain about AI involved in the music business. Is this different? Is this different when you take lyrics that you wrote or I wrote? And you and I, we write a song, we don't have a band. But we're like, you know what? This could be a badass song.
And we don't play instruments to any degree of expertise.
Right.
Maybe we can't carry a tune in a bucket. Or if we could, it doesn't sound like what we want it to sound like. But the lyrics are great.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that?
Yeah. Well,
because think about it. We could find people to help us create this song and pull this thing together, right? It would take time, effort, maybe some money, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, or we could work this into an AI thing and upload a single to iTunes, Apple or Spotify, in an hour or two.
Right.
Right. And people spin it, get downloads. I mean, and we've created a cool song.
Exactly. So I think I think ugh, I think it's there. Like I'm in this hour, this first 10 minutes of this show, I don't know if I don't like it because that avenue is there. Look at podcasting. Let's compare the two. Podcasting and putting out episodes, whether it be audio, video, or both, much like this show, for people that don't have jobs in radio, but maybe still have an opinion or a passion about music, about getting information out there. How is what we do any different than somebody sitting in their car and just wrote lyrics because they're a badass songwriter? They don't live in Nashville, Tennessee, and they utilize technology that's available to them to create music or a song based on their or entirely their lyrics. And they say, I
Right.
want it to be metalcore, I want it to be country, I want it to be hip hop. Is that so bad?
Right. Is it wrong of us to criticize them for creating something like that?
Right.
It doesn't mean you have to support it. You don't have to download it. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to do any of it. But I think they have a right to create what they want to create.
Right. What
You
is
know,
the difference between a brand new tattoo artist who
I
doesn't
would
have the
prefer.
money?
You're right, but I would prefer whoever creates this type of thing to be on the up and up. About what it is.
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
want.
And this band is.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want them creating characters and promo videos using AI, presenting it as a band,
Right.
unless you tell me right ahead of time, because that would be great too. That it's AI. Because what if you had a band and you made a video? Now you got a video to your music synced up using AI.
Right. And
I mean, and then it's almost like creating some sort of cartoon, anime, things like that, and to promote your own music, your
yeah,
own creativity.
this I'm looking I'm looking at the singles, the EPs that have been released by this band. And it goes back to last year, 2025. The one song that I just absolutely love is was released in 2025. Not gonna name them. Not gonna name them on the show. What I'm
Okay,
gonna do is when this show is over, I'm going to post on our socials. Well, on Facebook, I want to post a video to the song
let's
that
make
I
a
like
poll.
if I can find it.
Make a
Yeah, I'll
poll,
do a
AI
poll.
or not.
Well, no, they'll know because I already said this. So, I'm going to post it. I think it's worth listening to. It's a really good song. I haven't sent it to you either, but it's been one of those weeks. But I want to put it out there because I want people to listen to it and listen. Okay, yeah, it's not your band that you're going out to see on the weekend. It's not the ones playing in the garage. But I go back to that. It's an argument we could have for the next 45 minutes. That
Yeah, because
band
I
playing in the garage, they can't afford to take that song they've wrote, record it, or put music. And I don't know. I am
well,
I am so up in the air with this right now.
if you have a band that has talent and can put together something on a 4 track that you could digitally upload, yeah, you're good. That's
Yeah,
awesome, and I will always support. I think that's the big argument. I will always support talent over anything like this. But again, this is also creativity. But I'm not going to see the AI band live. I'm not going to go out and spend money to what now a hologram. an AI thing. It sounds like something they would do in the Sphere.
Right.
That kind of thing. But that's an attraction. It's an attraction. It's not really a concert event. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little up in the air. I see the creative side of it, and I see the right to do what you want to do with your talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really don't want to discourage people that have musical ability that needs to be expressed, and we're going to miss out because now we're using AI for everything.
Right. Right. It's still, I'm sorry, but it's still talent. Your
Right.
lyrics, these lyrics that are human lyrics, still talent. So I don't know. That's a very good thing to think about. And I may put out a poll on all the other, on all of our socials just to, just to gauge the peeps and say, what do you think about it? What's your take? Because I think it's so interesting. Nothing surprises me anymore because there's
Yeah,
just so much out there that you can do with
it's
whatever.
it's so hard too because like let's say you know a vocalist that really can express themselves through their style, and it affects you on a base level. It touches your soul. Do you get that when you listen to someone on AI? Well, not someone, the AI creation.
Right.
Because let's say you listen to it and someone's with you. Wow, what is that? That's great. Oh,
Right.
that's an AI thing. It's just an AI thing.
What?
You know. So I don't know if you'll be touched the same by the AI creation as you would someone really pouring their heart out into their vocal.
But if you don't know, it's not going to matter.
That's what I'm saying. I want to know though. I want to know what it
Yeah.
is. I don't want to be tricked.
I don't know. I mean, I almost want to say it doesn't matter. You're still, I don't know.
You're still experiencing the music, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I still liked Milli Vanilli before I knew it wasn't them.
Dude, that's the standard though. That's the standard now. They were trailblazers.
Yes. And now
Trailblazers.
that's the thing. Everybody bitched and moaned when Milli Vanilli was let out because they were lip syncing, but you can't go on TikTok anymore without seeing people lip sync.
Not only lip syncing, it wasn't their vocals that were on the record.
Right.
Right. Not so they were there as the poster for that music.
Yeah.
These are so I don't want to hear it either because everyone took that cue and they're like, yeah, I guess that's what we'll do now. We're just better.
Natalie,
We're just
the
better at it.
moderator, says if it's good music, who cares how it was made? Honestly, and that's what that's how I think a lot of people think. But it's that not knowing, and then all of a sudden and you're like, oh, I don't like it. I don't like that.
But
That's not real people.
here's another problem with it too. AI has to learn from something. So
Correct.
it's pulling from things that are already out there, Paul Rogers, Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
Things like that. And you say, I want it to sound like this or in the vein of this.
Yeah.
Now you're taking someone else's talent and their blood, sweat, and tears and
Right.
putting it into an artificial entity. So that's a rough one.
I think that's a little bit different, just because if you're wanting to mimic somebody, then sure. I mean, all of these artists, and we'll move on here in a second, but all of these artists that have passed, Ozzy, number one prime example. We could put out a brand new Ozzy album with the use of
Oh yeah.
AI.
What if Alex Van Halen and Steve Lukather with their project they're doing, and Sammy could do this. He's alive. But what if they just wanted to throw David Lee Roth's voice from 1983
Yep.
into the AI computer and generate a product?
Yeah.
You'd have to get permission. These people are living, but oh my goodness, would that sell? Not how
Yeah.
you sing now, not what you sound like today, We're going back in time with AI.
One more point to bring up with all this, and I promise we'll move on. How is this any different than sci-fi movies that you watch? Case in point, Avatar. That a lot of that, if I'm not mistaken, was AI generated. One of the most, if not the most lucrative movies to ever be put out there. And they're on like number 4 or 5 because everybody likes it. Oh, it's acting. Sure. It Pixar stuff, freaking Shrek, all that. Okay. It's animated. It's however you want to call it. It's not real. Well, Shrek's real. I've seen her. But it's not real. So you like that. You like Star Wars. Nobody has a lightsaber. Why can't you have music that you're still drawn to that may not be sung by a human, but sang by AI? And one thing about AI, before you know it, the way things are going, country music is going to have songs about trucks that leave the cowboy because they drive themselves.
They just drive off.
They just drive off. One band that is not AI that is in our headlines for this week as we move on from our 20-minute argument over AI, Shinedown, is making some pretty big headlines as they have once again made history as their single Searchlight has topped 2 rock radio charts. They are number one on Mediabase's active rock chart, marking the band's 24th number 1 song on the chart, and they're also number 1 on Billboard's mainstream rock airplay chart, marking their 22nd number 1 song on that chart.
Right.
22. I mean,
that surprised me.
When I saw that, I did not know they had 22 number 1s. I cannot sit here at this point in time and name 22 Shinedown songs.
Oh, I could. I love Shinedown.
I guarantee I've heard them, but I couldn't name them. With this achievement, Shinedown further extends its all-time records for the most number 1 songs on both charts. That's obviously 2 incredible milestones that continue to solidify their unmatched dominance at radio. And I know we don't usually talk about bands like Shinedown, more modern-ish bands, contemporary, but this is a huge accomplishment, and it had to be brought up because this is crazy when you think about all the other bands that have number 1 songs.
We're going to have to talk about bands like this more often because our bands are getting so old that I think it's a remarkable achievement because I didn't even think that they were charting like this at all. I've been up and down with their last handful of records anyway.
Sure.
But apparently everyone else has been very appreciative and they're still incredibly popular.
Yeah, this track, which a lot of people probably don't know, made its historic live debut at the Grand Ole Opry during the band's first ever appearance on that iconic stage. Unheard of.
Think about this. Why are they on the Grand Ole Opry stage? Who invited them for that? That blew me away.
Yeah.
And when they performed this song, and I watched the performance, they got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
And it was a great performance. I don't know if have you heard the song?
I have. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. There's a country element in the song.
Yep.
It's not a country song by any means, but there's a country element to it. So I wonder if that had something to do with it. But yeah, they're in Nashville on the legendary Grand Ole Opry stage.
Yeah.
And killing it with a full set and people just loving this song.
Yeah. Of course, with Searchlight being number 1, that it basically continues what's being called a landmark run for Shinedown. Over the past year, they have delivered multiple number 1 rock radio hits, including Dance Kid Dance and Killing Fields, while 365 achieved crossover success across
Dude, that's a great
alternative,
song.
hot AC, which is adult contemporary, and top 40 formats. And then their latest song, Safe and Sound, has hit number 32 on active radio, and it is still climbing. I would not be surprised if that ends up at number one at some point.
Right, and this is all leading up to the record they're finally putting out. Because I was wondering if they were going to do what everyone else is doing and just drop singles, but they announced a record finally, 8. I think it's called 8.
Yep, which happens to be their 8th studio album.
I think we're going to have most of the record out in singles.
No, exactly. But yeah, there'll be some that we'll get that won't be. But that actually comes out on May 29th via Atlantic Records, and of course, Shinedown is getting ready to embark on a massive Dance Kid Dance Act 2 world tour, which will be spanning North America and Europe. So if you have not heard Searchlight from Shinedown,
beautiful song.
Yeah, be sure to go check it out. You know what? We'll post that too. I'm going to post Shinedown and post AI. I'm not going to sleep tonight because all I want to do is post stuff. It's ridiculous. But Shinedown's a good band. You know, they've actually been one that's grown on me over the years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I liked them right off the bat.
There were a couple songs I liked, but it's just because they were being played on rock stations non-stop.
Right.
And I just got to the point where I was tired of hearing about them.
Like I said, I've been up and down the last little bit with them because they're not as heavy as they were. Around, I want to say, Leave a Whisper, Us and Them, and then they had the big record. What's the name of the big record? Help me out. Crow and Butterfly and all that stuff is on that record. I can't think of the name, but those 3 big records, and then the one after that, I love Amaryllis. I loved a lot.
Yeah.
Then they start getting I don't know, a little more ballady, a little more radio friendly. People are getting in their ear a little bit, so I'm up and down with them. But I've liked what I've heard on this a lot.
So far, so good. I think they're a growing band, and by growing, they're getting older. You know, it's a maturity.
Sound of Madness.
Yeah. There you
Sound
go.
of Madness.
It's a maturity level when it comes to bands, because you see how many bands are awesome. They kicked ass when they were first out, and then as they mature throughout the years, 10, 15, 20 years, that music that they start putting out, it's more melodic. There's more, almost more passion, more meaning to the lyrics, and I think this song in particular is a perfect representation of that.
That and 365. That song hits me right here every time I hear it. Every time.
Absolutely.
And every time I think that Brent Smith can't come up with another big hit, man, he throws another one at you. He's amazing.
Yeah, kind of like Mother Nature throwing another freaking pile of water, because it is coming down.
Yeah, it's thundering here.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Just when you thought you've had enough Ozzy news, we've got more.
It's all the time.
Yeah, if you plan on going to Clisson, France, to Hellfest, which is an annual open-air festival held in Clisson, France, and of course one of the biggest metal festivals in all of Europe, you are going to be in for a treat, as it has been announced that at the entrance to this festival, you will be able to grace yourself with the largest, to date, the largest statue ever of Ozzy Osbourne. The first photo of they say 6 meter. I did the math. That's 9 feet, 3 feet in a meter, right? 6 meter, 6 times 3. That's 18. That's not 9. So I do still suck at math. This large ass statue will be placed near the Hellfest entrance during a February 6th appearance at Midam 2026 at the Palais des Festivals in Cannes, France. That's when the photo she let the photo out. That's not when the actual Hellfest is. I have not seen the picture. I'm gonna have to look for it. I just need to Google it, but I haven't looked for it.
Is this in the same area the Lemmy statue is? Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah. Back in 2022 is when they unveiled the Lemmy statue. So I like this idea of all these rock icons in their statues. I need to put those statues in the garage mahal, especially next to my 12-foot skeleton.
No, what you need are wax figures.
That would scare the crap out of me.
That would be amazing. Ozzy in wax.
Yeah. I want to see if I can make that happen. I won't. Natalie, the moderator, you need to get on that and try to find one. Hellfest, if you're interested, is taking place from June 18th through June 21st. Quite a lineup. I don't think it's all been announced just yet, but yeah, still, I just thought it was pretty cool to have a big old statue of Ozzy, because it's interesting if you see that all of these tributes continue to pour out long after his death, which is good to see.
Oh,
And
it's a lot, and it keeps going.
yeah, and I know we won't talk much on this, but Ozfest is coming back.
Right. That was kind of leading into that.
Yeah.
Sharon says it's going to happen. By golly, it's coming.
Yeah, I think she said 2027 is when
Okay,
it's going to
so
come out. But of
not
course, the
that far.
biggest thing right now, and I was listening to Octane on Sirius XM, and they were talking about Ozfest and the possibility of it happening, and who's going to play Ozfest? And it was like, oh, what about Black Label Society? Perfect band
Right.
to
Right.
kick off Ozfest. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes. Hopefully, we'll get some kind of announcement on that
They will be
relatively soon.
they'll be touring anyway as well, because their new album will be coming out soon.
I
Like
think so.
Label Society.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's heavy and it's good.
exactly. Last week, we finally broke what we considered the news, that Metallica was finally admitting and signing and putting the dates out for their residency that they're going to be doing at the Sphere in Las Vegas. That came to be so freaking ridiculously popular. No surprise. Hashtag we have been trying to tell you to have them play the Super Bowl for about 5 years now. That
Right.
Metallica has revealed details of 6 newly added residency shows at the Sphere in Las Vegas. This is all due to the unbelievable demand for these tickets. Um, the pre-sales actually started today. I'm looking at the calendar. Those actually started today. But it's been so freaking like popular and
Right.
exciting that they
Over the
added
top
6 more.
response.
Yeah. Um,
6 more for now.
exactly.
That
Exactly.
there'll be, these are going into 2027
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
I think there'll be more dates. Uh,
Oh,
I think it's going to become a thing for a little bit. Uh, my brother-in-law looked into tickets for this,
this is
and
right where I was going to go.
he jumped into the queue at number 20,000. Number 20,000. He looked at prices.
Hmm.
These, have you seen the prices for these tickets?
That's where I was going.
Right. I think I'm not sure if it was aftermarket or Ticketmaster, but they were hitting anywhere from 700 to 1,400. I think a ticket.
Uh, I've seen the residency. I've seen ticket prices ranging from $600 to well over $3,000. With some, I'm not kidding, going over $11,000. There have been reports of tickets being in excess of $24,000.
Ridiculous. I don't want to hear anyone gripe about ticket sale and pricing ever again when you turn around and buy stuff like this.
Absolutely.
I don't want to hear about it. My thought was you buy 2 tickets and then you got to fly to Vegas. You got to get hotel 4 days. Let's say 4 days, right? Food, drink, whatever you do. You're $6,000 deep.
Yeah.
To see Metallica.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
There are numerous fans that have taken to social media to complain about the prices, labeling them with such words as insane, ludicrous, crazy, because they've been priced between $700 and $800 for one night.
One night.
VIP and multi-night packages ranging between $1,000 and $3,000. I did not jump in that queue. I'm sure you did not either.
I did not.
There are some people that are posting comments saying something to the effect of maybe you could drop your ticket prices to less than the price of a car. It's always something. I would love to go to this show, but there's no way I would ever put myself in debt to go see a band for 2 nights. I love Metallica. We both do.
Right. And that's going to be, I mean, surely people with real money that can pay cash for these things could do this stuff.
Yeah.
But most of us are going to be lopping this on a credit card and saying, because it's the fear of missing out. It's the FOMO.
Yep.
And we're all worried about it. And we got to go see Metallica at the Sphere and go to Vegas. And, I mean, I'm glad they're doing it. I think it's awesome. But I'm not paying that kind of money for anyone, any band.
No, there were people that are showing pictures of their spot in line of being in the queue.
In the queue.
341,451 people in front of them. So there were tons. There was one I just saw a minute ago where somebody was 950. They were 916. So there were 915 people in front of them. And then they were in the queue. They were number 1. They got the little thing come up that says, "It's your turn. Let's go." Only to be greeted by a message that says, "Your place in the queue is no longer valid. An error has occurred."
It's like this with Ticketmaster.
Because it's Ticketmaster. Or the infamous, "Sorry you missed out because the show is sold out." There's no freaking way if you were at number 10,000 in the queue for Ticketmaster,
right,
that it should be sold out. That is bots. Those are bots getting those tickets. Those are, I don't know. This is the problem that we constantly talk about every year, if not every 6 months, about Ticketmaster and these stupid tickets.
Right, with the scalpers taking everything.
Absolutely. It's absolutely.
And then turning around and then you have to go to StubHub and you have to go to TickPick and Game Time and all this other bullshit.
Yeah.
To pay $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, $12,000 or whatever it is to see a band you like.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little much. It's ridiculous. This is what, and I know it's going to sell out. It's fine. It's going to. There is no doubt about that. But this is what's going to keep your new fans, from being able to go and enjoy one of your shows.
As long as people are willing to pay these prices and do these things, nothing's going to change. You speak with your wallet, right?
Right.
You don't have to go. And I'm not. And don't think Metallica doesn't know this.
For sure.
Because all of these acts are saying, "Wow, if they're going to pay this, why let this go to the secondary market?
Yeah,
when we can get the money up front."
Yep.
So I mean, don't think they don't know. They know.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad they're doing the show. I think it's awesome. I think I support the whole thing, other than these ticket prices.
Yeah. Because if I would have got the tickets, I couldn't afford a flight.
Right. How am I getting there?
Start walking now, but it's raining and I wouldn't want to.
Well, yeah, and driving too. Driving
Oh
and all
yeah, I
this.
forgot we could drive. We didn't have to walk.
In your AI car.
Yeah, and listen to AI music. We won't get into our very last story until the last. See how that works, because I'm waiting to see if Viper actually shows up in the chat, because this is going to be a story for him. But before we get to that, this is a follow-up again to last week where we talked about the nominations for the Rock and Roll Music Hall of Fame, and the fan voting has already started, and it's been open for a week now. And let's just say that, in my opinion, these results are crazy. Absolutely insane. There was an article put out that we both saw, and then I decided to go to the website for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And you don't have to do too much, but you just click a little button and it says leaderboard. So I went to the leaderboard to just check and see, because by the time you read an article, it's changed.
Right.
Here's where we're at with this fan vote. Let me start at the top. We'll start at the top. I was going to start at the bottom, but we'd lose listeners. Starting at the top with 244,000 fan votes right now, leading this. Remember, these nominees include acts such as Phil Collins, Sade, INXS, Iron Maiden, the Black Crowes. So think about Billy Idol. Think about all these people we talked about last week. And I'm getting ready to give you basically the top 7, and then I'll give you some others that really should be better. Leading the pack, I do not have a problem with this. At 244,000 votes, almost 245,000, is Phil Collins. Bravo. Good for him. I like that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is number 2. With a whopping 206,000, yes, 206,000 freaking votes. New Edition. What? New Edition?
Are the bots voting?
Let's keep going. At number 3, with 190,000 votes, Pink. Okay, don't necessarily have a problem with that.
I'll get into that in a minute.
At number 4, Luther Vandross, with nearly 180,000 votes. Coming in at number 5 currently is Billy Idol, who should be up at number 2 at least.
At least.
At number 6, Sade. When I first seen her come out on like Casey Kasem or something, I thought it was Sade.
Sade.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like that new Sade. Anyway, and rounding out the top 7 with 156,000 votes, INXS. So those right there, those are your top 7 vote getters right now for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What you will notice is that I didn't mention bands like Iron Maiden or the Black Crowes. Let me just tell you where they're at. I just read you 7, right? At number 8, and I'm not even going to tell you how many votes, because it doesn't matter. At number 8, Mariah Carey. At number 9, Wu-Tang Clan, followed by Lauryn Hill.
Who put out one record.
Followed by, finally, 8, 9, 10, in the 11th spot, Iron Maiden, with 117,000 votes.
Crazy.
Following Iron Maiden, Melissa Etheridge, Oasis. Oh, there's the Black Crowes. 4 away from the bottom. Black Crowes are followed by Shakira. And then Joy Division plus New
where
Order.
she should be.
100%. Absolutely. Jeff Buckley rounds out everybody with a monstrous 61,000 votes. The total number of votes as of this very second, 2.2 million. So 2,298,108. That leaderboard has not changed in a while. Let me put this out there though. Remember last year when we talked about this very thing, Pafish, that's fish with a PH, was number 1 and leading everything. Every week they were leading Billy Idol. They were leading In
In the
Excess.
fan vote.
And they didn't even get in. So realistically, does the fan vote even count?
Does it matter?
Does it matter? I don't know. But
It's
to
a
see
very
this right now,
small percentage.
this blows my mind. I understand Phil Collins. I understand Billy Idol. In Excess, sure. Late 80s, early 90s. Okay, cool. New Edition?
Right.
Sade?
Here's the thing, too. New Edition, and you mentioned Pink, and both you and I like Pink.
Yes.
We didn't necessarily object to her nomination.
Right.
But
Kathy voted for New Edition.
Okay. If Pink and New Edition get in before Iron Maiden, before the Black Crowes, before In Excess, before Styx or Boston, there's some real issues with what we're doing here.
I apologize for
Crowes,
the barking in the background here.
The Black Crowes virtually saved rock and roll in the late 80s, early 90s when Shake Your Moneymaker came out, because at that point in time, this is before Nirvana, we were winding down on the Sunset Strip rock and roll, and we were not getting the greatest of bands. Some of that stuff that came out in 88, 89, 90, 91 were not the best music. It was cookie cutter, a lot of the same thing the glammy stuff we had seen before, which in itself killed that music.
Let me ask you
a question. The Black Crowes, okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you think people are making a mockery out of this fan vote? Or do you genuinely think that these fans that are voting are legit voting for New Edition?
No, I believe they are.
Okay.
I don't. And back to my point, we have this cookie cutter stuff coming out, and the Black Crowes come out with a blues, rock, just pure rock and roll album that did incredibly well, and kept us afloat until the big Nirvana gate came down.
True.
I mean, and speaking of that type of music, Alice in Chains not even nominated or anything, and they're going to not be in before Pink.
Yeah, and I mentioned this a while ago. Doing well in the fan vote does not guarantee that you'll even make it, because this time last year we were talking about Pahish and we were talking about Billy Idol, and neither one of them were even inducted last year. So it almost remains. It makes me angry to think that you have to go in here. And I remember we went over this because there was a certain percentage of how the vote, how much the fan vote actually influenced and blah, blah, blah. What does every artist that gets up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, what do they say? I got to thank the fans.
Right.
What
That's
about
who puts them there?
Right. Well, apparently the fans don't put them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because Pahish and Billy Idol should have been in last year. But neither one of them got it. And Pahish isn't even nominated this year.
That is fascinating. That's
How
fascinating.
ridiculous is this?
Right. I mean, you know, they're the critical darling, you know, Rolling Stone, bands like Fish, and now they're not even nominated because they expected them to do better in the fan vote or better in their board meetings and such. And as far as Iron Maiden is going to have to go in through the back door. I'm just saying, it's going to be the
Steel
what are
Panther
they
wrote a
using
song
now?
about that.
Yeah, through the back door.
Going in the
Uh,
back door.
it's going to be the Influence Award or whatever they use for Judas Priest or
Right.
Randy Rhodes, that sort of thing. And that's fine. At least they're in. But to get that board to vote for Iron Maiden beyond Tom Morello and Eddie Trunk, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Well, it's safe to say we saved the absolute best for last. The Viper's going to miss it because he's not in. But we once again have some information regarding Sebastian Bach. This time, we're not talking about Skid Row. Hold on to your pants. Sit down if you're standing. Pull over if you're driving. Because if you've not heard this news, you're going to say, what? Holy crap. Or maybe even, that's badass. But if you have not heard because you've been living under a rock or whatever, last week we talked about Twisted Sister. I think it was last week. Recently, we've talked about Twisted Sister and the
Couple
fact
times.
that Dee Snider essentially retired and will not be touring with the band ever again. There was speculation that maybe Twisted Sister could continue on. You and I talked about it on this show. Maybe they could continue on with a brand new singer. And we were both like, no way. It's not Dee Snider. There is nothing. Well, guess what? Put two and two together because I just talked about Sebastian Bach and I just talked about Twisted Sister. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. For a limited run, Twisted Sister will be hitting the road this year after all, and they will be doing it with Sebastian Bach on lead vocals instead of Dee Snider. This news was broke yesterday in a social media statement, which also included a teaser of a new version of Twisted Sister's 1983 song, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, with Bach on vocals. There have been no dates announced. However, what has been announced is that Dee Snider has given his full blessing for Sebastian Bach to take the reins and go kick some twisted ass. I, for one, am excited about this. I think it's not sunk in yet. But
I want him to wear the makeup and have the bone. Dig up the bone, Sebastian. I want the hair and the makeup and the bone. I think it would be great.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else that could do this. Really, can you? Can you think of anyone else?
No. I mean, in his prime, in his late prime, Axl Rose maybe could have done it. Total different amount of or type of music.
Glad you brought that up. Glad you brought that up because I feel like this is a similar situation in a sense because AC/DC had a tour already booked when Brian Johnson's hearing failed and they had to get Axl. So they couldn't just get anybody. They had to get a name, right? And it worked. For the most part, it worked. Resale tickets were or refunds were minimal, except for Kathy. But Twisted Sisters, Twisted Sisters in a little bit different boat. They want to celebrate 50 years of their music, but I agree too. They need a name. They need a name, and someone that reveres their music, which Sebastian does. He loves Twisted Sister, so I don't think they could do it with anyone else unless it's a big enough name.
Yeah. Is this the We don't have dates. I know we don't have dates.
No,
We don't know how this
no.
is going to go. If this is
Sebastian's on
anywhere,
tour though, and this doesn't interfere with his tour. I know that.
right? If this comes near, we're going. We have to go to this because
Well, what are they going to price this at
$3,000. It'll
There
be
you
at
go.
it'll be at the Spear. It'll be Twisted Sister. I can't even say it. Twisted Sister featuring Sebastian Bach. Here's the headline. All right. He goes on this tour, kicks absolute total metal ass with Twisted Sister. The search has gone crappy after watching everything that's happened with Sebastian and Twisted Sister. I think it's time we reunite with Sebastian Bach. Enter Skid Row. I'm going to call it now.
No,
I'm calling it now. It will never happen, but still, if it does,
I wanted
called it.
I wanted to say that they were going to miss their chance to get Sebastian back because of this development, right?
Yeah.
But I really don't think that's going to happen because they will not have picked a singer by the time this is all over.
No.
So I think there'll be time.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's awesome. Because I mean, you're not replacing an icon for any other in Dee Snider for any other reason that he is telling you I can't do this.
Right.
They didn't kick him out of the band. You know, there's no other health reason other than I am 74 years old and I'm just tired. Right. And so I think it's great. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact Sebastian is pumped. I heard an interview today on the Eddie Trunk show where he was just crazy about it.
And JJ French, of course, with Eddie Ojeda, they're all for it. They're like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
That was their whole thing. They wanted to do this anyway. And then, you know, the unfortunate situation with Dee Snider popped up. But daggone, this is exciting news. The Viper misses it. He may have sent us a message, even though we already knew about it. But he didn't get to hear us talk about it when we said we were going to talk about it because this is huge news. If you're a Twisted Sister fan, I want to hear from Twisted Sister fans. I want to know what they think.
Well, have you seen the articles about what the fans are saying?
No.
I think it's split about 50-50.
Okay.
There's a lot of people saying they just need to hang it up. You know, this is ridiculous. And then there's a lot of people pumped because we're going to get to see something unique and special.
For sure.
And I think they're going to revere the music that they created. And we're not getting Youth Gone Wild. We're not getting I Remember You. We're getting Pedal to the Metal, Twisted Sister, you know, Balls to the Wall. That's what we're getting.
Yeah. I think the show will be absolutely epic.
Yeah, and I'm not someone that is all about replacing key members. You know, we can't even imagine it most of the time. But this is a unique situation, and they really want to celebrate this music. And like you said at the beginning, Dee Snider, I believe they had a phone call between Sebastian and Dee.
Yeah,
they talked this out, and he gave his full blessing. I want you to do this. I think it's awesome.
That's enough. You don't need anything else. I think it's perfect.
No, it's perfect. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear an upcoming interview with Dee in order to talk about this because I can't wait to hear what he says about Sebastian doing it straight from his own mouth. So that'll be something to look forward to. I'm sure that by next week we'll probably have more to talk about regarding that.
And that track you mentioned that Sebastian's on is from a tribute album.
Correct.
That was recorded in 2000.
Yeah.
And that's your sneak peek right there.
Yeah. So give that a listen. We'll have to look for it and see if we can find it. And heck, maybe it's just going to be a ferocious posting on socials tonight because I've lost track of everything I got to go. And I even brought a pen in here so I could write things down and keep track. But
play with it.
I forgot to write things down. I knew I had the pen. But that's our show for this week. Before we go, I do have to give a huge shout out to our listeners, our friends out at Al Udeid Air Base. And specifically, a little shout out to Pizza Cat. Dude, keep your tail down. Love you, Pizza Cat.